What is going on, everybody? It is Luke Beller. I hope all you guys had a great time watching that game last night. Honestly, I did not see that outcome coming. 31-9, the Buccaneers beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I think coming to the game, you look at both sides and you see Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs side and you're like, okay, high-powered offense. Okay, they'll probably put up some points even though the Buccaneers have a great defense. Then you look to the Buccaneers side of the ball and you're like, okay, Tom Brady, the GOAT, it's pretty hard to bet against him. So looking at this game coming into it, I thought it would be a close one. I thought it could be one of those games where it's like whichever player gets the ball last, that's sort of the team that's going to come out with the victory. But in this game, we saw something completely different. And, we saw one really big breakdown with this Chiefs team, which I'll sort of break down in today's video. But if you guys are new to the channel, I put out NFL news, Packers content, NFL content, all that kind of stuff 5 to 6 times a week. So if you want to see that kind of stuff, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on those post notifications. So I think the biggest, problem for this Chiefs team coming into the game, pretty much everyone was talking about it. They had to start 2 backup tackles in Mike Remmers and Andrew Wiley. So, you see that coming in and you're thinking, okay, maybe the Bucs will be able to get a little bit more pressure on Patrick Mahomes. But, Patrick Mahomes can scramble. He can run around. Maybe he'll be okay. But as we saw in this game, Patrick Mahomes was not okay in this one. He pretty much had to, back up and scramble. It seemed like every single play, he's just running around, making these insane throws. And it was tough for Patrick Mahomes this day. And this Chiefs offense didn't even get into the end zone in this one. And so taking a look at the pressures that this Bucs team generated on Mahomes. So Mahomes was pressured on 29 of his dropbacks, which was a Super Bowl record. And the crazy thing about this is that they only sent an extra blitzer on 2 of those plays. So Todd Bowles was basically able to dial up this defense, bringing 4 or less guys. He was able to bring that pressure on Patrick Mahomes, sort of allowing his, guys to cover all the weapons that this Chiefs offense has. And one crazy stat to look at to sort of just show how much Mahomes was having to run around in this game. So he ran 497 yards before his passes. That's according to Next Gen Stats. And so he pretty much scrambled in every single play, and that was the highest of any QB this entire season. And, sort of pair that with the fact that he has been dealing with that toe injury. He was still able to run around, but you could tell at times it was sort of hurting him. He was limping a little bit as well. But with that kind of pressure that was, being able to be brought with, 3 guys or 4 guys, sort of allowing the other guys to cover, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all those kind of guys, those great linebackers, Levante David, just basically swarming to the ball at all times in the field. Patrick Mahomes was shut down 26 for 49, 270 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times, and he had a QBR of 49.9, which was, one of the worst of his career. And here's a quote from defensive coordinator of the Bucs, Todd Bowles, after the game. He said, "The biggest thing was to cover up the receivers to make Mahomes hold the ball a little bit so our rush could get there. Mixing up the coverages and moving the guys around a bit, making him think a little bit, and taking away his first read allowed those guys to get off up front and cover the guys on the back." So Todd Bowles was basically able to come in here and do what no one's really been able to do, which is contain Patrick Mahomes. It's always seemed, with Patrick Mahomes that he'd always find a way. We've seen him be down many times last year in the playoffs, this year at times as well, and he's been able to rally back and to come back. And so even when he's down, you're thinking, okay, is he going to, work some magic and sort of bring this Chiefs team back, as he has many, many times. And yesterday, was not the day for Mahomes. He wasn't able to will this Chiefs team to victory, and that was partly, or mainly, I guess you could say, by Todd Bowles and that game plan that he brought in to stop Patrick Mahomes. And one crazy thing is that coming into this game, the Bucs had the 5th highest blitz rate, blitzing on 39% of plays. So if you're the Chiefs, you're probably thinking, okay, he'll probably blitz some. That's sort of what he does, so maybe he'll do it again. But then in this game, he only blitzes on 9% of the plays. So he brings in a game plan, that he hasn't done all season, and it works out for this Buccaneers team. And then if we take a look at Tyreek Hill, he burned the Bucs the first time they played, 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. So you'd assume, okay, he's probably going to do the same thing again. And he did pretty much nothing in this game. I mean, he had 73 yards, so not a crazy game from Tyreek Hill. We take a look at a quote from Tyreek after the game. He said, "They played a lot of zone tonight, primarily cover 2, cover 4. We normally see man, and that's what we game plan for. Todd Bowles, he did his thing tonight. He came out, and they just had a better game plan." So it seems like Tyreek is saying, they came in expecting one thing from the Buccaneers defense, and they basically did the opposite, which is part of sort of what allowed, this Buccaneers defense to shut down Mahomes. Another thing to look at, So in the last game, they played a lot of deep one safety looks, but in this game, they played a lot of two deep safeties, so they didn't really allow any deep passes to get behind them, which is one of the things that the Chiefs offense does so well, getting Tyreek Hill, some of those guys, just deep passes. They can just sort of come back in games so quickly, but in this game, they were limited just because of the way that Todd Bowles was playing this game. And then moving to the other side of the ball, we have Tom Brady, who now has pretty much put himself as the pinnacle of success in the NFL. I can't imagine, honestly, anyone getting to this level. It'll be tough. I don't know if anyone will ever get, 7 Super Bowls. It's just a crazy, crazy stat, for Tom Brady to be able to accumulate 7 Super Bowls, which is now more than any franchise as well. Honestly, just crazy. And in this game, Brady, completely opposite from Mahomes, was only pressured on 4 of his dropbacks, which was the fewest of any Super Bowl he's played in. So being 43 years old, it's nice to have an offensive line that sort of protects you. And that's sort of why I think if Tom Brady continues to play, which it seems that he is going to, if they can continue to have a great offensive line, sort of allow him to sit back there, not get hit, there's no reason Tom Brady couldn't play till he's like 50. 7 more years. I don't see why it couldn't happen. So Tom Brady in this game goes 21 for 29, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns, able to get it done. Then Gronkowski, just crazy that Gronkowski comes in this offseason with Tom Brady. And of course, he's a leading receiver for the Buccaneers in this Super Bowl. It's just sort of fitting. Gronk has 6 receptions, 67 yards, and finishes with 2 touchdowns. And one of the great things that this Buccaneers team did this offseason is the free agent players they brought in, like Gronkowski, obviously Tom Brady. But then also they bring in a guy like Leonard Fournette, who wasn't like crazy good in the regular season, but in this game, in the playoffs, he's been, playoff Lenny, he's been great. In this game, he has 16 carries for 89 yards, averaging 5.6 yards per carry and 1 touchdown. And then Ronald Jones also 12 carries, 61 yards, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. And so playing the way that this Buccaneers defense did, it just allowed Tom Brady to, be able to play with the lead, be able to control this game, control the clock. And, just because of how efficient he was, he didn't have to put up some crazy stats in this game with the way that this Buccaneers defense played. And coming into it, I was thinking it was going to be a shootout. With Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball, you would assume, all right, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, all these different guys. Tom Brady's going to have to put up some numbers in this game. And honestly, he didn't have to do a crazy amount, but just because of how efficient he was, his 3 touchdowns, just the GOAT that he is, he finishes off with that Super Bowl MVP. So it may not have been the close Super Bowl that lots of us, fans were hoping for. It wasn't the most exciting game ever. But the fact that we got to watch Tom Brady, get his 7th Super Bowl, everyone's going to remember this for years and years to come. If you're a Chiefs fan, definitely it's not a great memory, but, I sort of feel your pain. As you can tell, I'm a Packers fan if you're, watching this and you're wondering. I sort of feel the pain of being beat by Tom Brady, but still you have to recognize greatness. Tom Brady had an absolute amazing game. But that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe if you want to see some more NFL content like this. But thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the next video.